Okay, we're going to get started here tonight. Why don't you just go around the room, since we don't know each other very well, and just say your name and how you know the hostess, and then the ages of the children in your life, so that I can talk about the books that apply to your kids. And hi, I'm Becky Dean, and I actually live just a couple miles south of here, and I do have 4 kids. So this is a picture of them when they were littler, because we've been doing this now for 18 years, and I started when my baby was 1 and my oldest was 6 years old, so I had 4 children under 6, and so that's kind of a way for me to get out of the house, but also to make some extra money, and we were able to build our dream home, and it was kind of a great business opportunity for us. But the biggest thing is that we were able to have books in our home for our own children, and so they grew up in a print-rich environment, and I really think that made a difference for them, because all of our children went to college 2 years earlier than most. They went their junior and senior year of high school, were college, and they graduated and were able to get jobs with their degrees. Our daughter Sarah became a nurse at age 21. So it really can make a big difference to have books in the home and to enhance your children's education. And so that's kind of our passion, is to help you guys help with your kids as well. Because if you ask a child if they love to read, when they're in kindergarten, 100% will say yes. But by the time they get to 4th grade, only 54% want to read anymore. And by the time they graduate from high school, just 19% want to read. And that's really quite a tragedy. And any ideas of what happened there? Yeah, often it's because technology, or they're not encouraging reading. But you'll notice here in kindergarten, between kindergarten and 4th grade, that's where the biggest drop happened, because that's where they learn to read. So what do you do as parents? Instead of continuing to read to them, you got them on your lap, you're reading nice stories together, you say, go read a book, or go do your homework. And then you know what? Reading isn't fun anymore for them. And that is the biggest detriment to keeping your kids to read, is if you stop reading to them. So the number one solution to keep your kids reading for a lifetime is to continue to read to aloud to them, even after they've learned to read. And the reason why is because it makes it pleasurable. And as human beings, we love to do things. We'll repeat things if we're having fun, if we find pleasure in it. And so reading to your child does create a pleasurable experience for them, even when they're older. So when they're older, you can see our kids all grew up, we're reading older novels then to them out loud. And your goal is at least 3 times a week. They've done studies, and this is all coming from the Jim Trelease handbook on the Read Aloud handbook. And so he's done lots of research, and it all is coming from there. So children who are read to at least 3 times a week will score higher on their SAT test. So that's kind of your minimum goal, is to keep reading out loud to them, but at least 3 times a week. Another thing just to consider too is 90% of the brain is developed before the age of 5. So make sure that you're starting reading, doing a lot of things before they get to school, and then just continuing that. And when you're reading to your children, read fiction. Is a great way to have discussions with your children, to talk about your family values, because the stories will talk about something and then you can discuss it with your children in a more natural way instead of doing preaching at them. So that having stories to read to them is a great idea, just to talk about your family values and pass that on to your children. We do have another line of books called Kane Miller, and those are going to be found in the back of your catalog. When I hand those out, you can take a look at those, and those are just stories that are written usually in another country, so they're giving them an introduction to different cultures and flavors that way, and then they talk about sometimes social issues. Another thing to read is nonfiction, and Usborne Books are primarily nonfiction books, and they are books that you're going to read to learn. And it is important, and sometimes we forget to do that at bedtime or other times, but reading nonfiction is important because it better prepares children for schooling. And so that's what they're going to be reading there, and so it gives them more vocabulary words, and so it's better preparing them as well, because it's expanding their vocabulary. And boys actually prefer to read nonfiction, such as history and adventure books. So it's always important to just kind of pull in that nonfiction as well. Usborne Books are primarily nonfiction, and they're called Usborne because Peter Usborne 30 years ago started the company, and they're educational but great fun too, is the idea of all the books we do. So he really wanted to have educational books that are super fun for kids to read. And his strategy is just to do it better, because you will find other books elsewhere. You're going to find sticker books in the grocery store, or you're going to be sent free books in the mail, and you're going to find all these kinds of books. But when you start reading Usborne, you're going to see there's a distinct difference because our strategy is just to do it better. So we base our books on the latest in educational research. We have very high quality books, thicker board book pages than what you'll find normally, and thicker paper, and so very high quality, but yet not overpriced. On our board books too, you're going to find rounded corners. We do safety test our books so that they actually are safer than other books you'll find even in the United States, because our books are distributed throughout the United States, and so our books are distributed throughout the world, and so they've passed safety standards in all different countries. We outline our board books, and the pictures in black on some of these so that they can see the pictures better. We have touchy-feely textures, so they're very interactive. There's kind of 3 different learning styles with your kids. You have auditory, when you're reading out loud to them, very visual, so you can see even our covers are very visual, and then interactive and hands-on. So as much as possible, Usborne Books will throw in interactive activities. You're going to have the touchy-feely textures, you're going to have the flaps that'll lift up, you're going to have little games, they're looking for different things in there as search books. You also are going to have noisy books that we carry, and different science experiments they'll throw in just to reinforce the activity so they can do a project and understand that as well. So very interactive and hands-on. We've got the sticker books. But what makes Usborne Books really unique and different is that we write our own books. And so like the Illustrated Dictionary of Math, for example, if you had if a math expert had written this book, it probably would not be as understandable. And so we write our own books, and then we're bringing it down to a level anyone can understand, even a child. And so you'll find here lots of visual step-by-step explanations. It's very logical, sequential, and then they always consult the math expert. And so that way it's written at a layperson level. And so that's what makes us kind of unique and different, is that we write our own books. But Usborne Books really are the books that kids will read for fun, and they say that over and over again. You'll find that. So it is important to have lots of books in the home. So let me just give you another tip. Read to them out loud, and then also have lots of books in the home, because it makes a difference, just like how the rodeo riders come with the states with the most horses, or the Olympic skiers come with the states with the most snow. The same thing here is the best readers come from the homes with the most print in them. And this is all coming from the Read Aloud Handbook. They've done studies and studies with kids to figure out why kids weren't learning, and it makes a difference if you have print in the home. So you need at least 100 books in the home. But it's important to realize that children outgrow books, and so you do need to have new books as often as you need new clothes. Because even though they have the board books, they're probably past that, and so you need to keep reading, bringing new books into your home. And it's also important to realize that when you're reading out loud to your children, they read at one level and then they listen at a higher level. So you always have to be reading at a higher level so that it is expanding the vocabulary. And it's also important to read smart books for smart kids, because I don't know about you, but I like to go rummage sailing sometimes. And so then I have found books at rummage sales, but it's just not written well. The story doesn't make sense, or it just has poor language in it, and it's just a dumb story. And so it's really important to read smart books for smart kids. We do use the latest in educational research. We have reading experts that are looking at our books, and consultants, and they're written at a specific level. So read smart books for smart kids. It really can make a difference. So have lots of books in the home, but another thing is to put them into baskets, because if you have your books on just bookshelves, you'll notice it's not very attractive for kids to pick up. All they're seeing is the spine, whereas we do a lot of work with the covers to make them very attractive for children to pick up. So if you just start laying books around in your home, you're going to find that, ooh, if they aren't a reader, they're going to look at this and they go, ooh, I want to read this, and then they'll pick it up, and then they don't mean to read, but all of a sudden they're looking at the pictures and they are starting to read. So by laying your books around instead of on the bookshelf, but also putting them into baskets, that can be a way that you can store them in different key locations. And so like you can put a basket of books in your bathroom, so that they just are sitting there anyway. They might as well just pick up a book and read. So that's a great location. Another one would be your breakfast table. How many of you read the cereal boxes or your kids are reading the cereal boxes. That's just marketing, right? So why not instead put great books in the baskets, and then they can read the books instead and learn about the story of inventions and that a woman invented the dishwasher. Another place to put your books is also in, just have a basket of books in the bedroom, and then let your kids stay up an extra 20 minutes to read, just to have reading be fun. Because again, your whole goal is if you can make reading fun for your kids, then they will read for a lifetime. Also consider having a basket of books in the car or a book bag, so every time you go somewhere, instead of putting the DVD in for your kids, have them look at books. That can make a huge difference for them in reading levels and helping them in school. And we have very interactive books. The animal doodles, all of our activity cards, I put them on a ring, and then that way they stay together, and then they come with a wipe-off marker. And this is something really easy to put in your diaper bag or in your purse anytime you have to sit anywhere. And so think of having books in your car as well. So again, to have your children love reading, have lots of books in your home. Put them in the baskets and read to your children out loud at least 3 times a week. Make sure you're reading nonfiction and fiction, and then read smart books for smart kids. So we're going to play a little game, and then we're going to go through the catalogs. I'll pass them out, and then we can share with you how to save money. So we're going to play a little game, the chocolate game, and it's from actually the Story of Inventions, because they had to invent chocolate before we could eat it and enjoy it. So true or false, and this is, I'm going to throw out chocolate too, because this is a chocolate game, but you have to answer the question first, so make sure you answer quickly. True or false, the Mayans and Aztecs believed a drink of chocolate was the drink of the gods. True. Yes, correct. Who invented sweet hot chocolate? The Aztecs, the Belgians, the Spaniards, or the Germans? It's Belgians. Nope. Yep, Spaniards. Good job. Whoops. True or false? The Aztec leader Montezuma drank chocolate, loved chocolate so much he drank from it a golden goblet 5 times a day. True. No, not true. False. Correct. He drank from it actually. Oh, here's your chocolate. He drank 50 times a day because he believed it gave him strength and wisdom. So it wasn't the sweetness that was giving him the sugar buzz, because that wasn't invented until later. But he was actually getting a caffeine buzz, and so that's how he had that. And then true or false, people are eating more chocolate today than ever before. True. Awesome. So let's walk through the catalogs together, and I'll share with you how to save some money-saving tips, because it's better to get more for your money. And one of the best ways of doing that is to get combined volumes. So as you're looking through a catalog, you're going to look for this CV symbol. That means combined volume, and that's where they've taken several books and they've put it into one to save you money. So for example, you have the complete book of Farmyard Tales, and you're going to see here, this one has all 20 of the titles all in one book for only $24.99, and so you're saving $95 versus buying those as individual titles. And then plus it has a read-along CD that goes along with it. So that's a $95 savings. That's one of our best values. And it also is a very popular book. Most people get that. And then we also have the Book of Bible Stories. This one also is a combined volume. It has a $40 savings. You're getting all 12 of the books all in one. And so you're saving $40. And then plus you also get a read-along CD with that. And now both of these books too, just to let you know, are dual level readers. And so what that means, and also with Princess Stories and Fairy Tales, you'll notice when I was opening them up, there was a top line and then 2 bottom lines. And so what that means is this, you can read just the top and it'll make a complete story. So when the children are younger and their attention span is not as long, you can read just the top. And then when they're able to sit a little bit longer, you can read the ad on the bottom. But it's also designed, it's simpler text on the top. So when they're first beginning to read, they can read the top, you can read the bottom. Eventually they'll read the whole thing. So it grows up many, many years with them. And just a hint, if your kids should have been in bed 2 hours ago, read the top line and you get through the story faster. So that's some of those combined volumes. And then also you'll notice they have this little yellow duck anything that you see illustrated by Stephen Cartwright, he hides a little yellow duck in each of the pictures. And so that's just kind of a fun little game that they throw in with the kids, because again, you want to make reading fun. And so he hides that little yellow duck. Anything with the "that's not my" too, just a little hint. There's also a little white mouse that kids are looking for. Visual discrimination is a pre-reading skill. It helps them to distinguish letters, and so that's why you'll have some of those little learning games in our books. Another great combined volume is Ted and Friends. So this is also a very highly popular title. And this one has all 12 of the phonics readers in one for only $19.99. So you're saving $63 versus buying them as individual titles. It has the fold-out flaps, larger flaps. It's illustrated by Stephen Cartwright, so you have the little yellow duck. But it's also phonics readers. And so it is important when you're looking through our books, read the front. It'll tell you about the little yellow duck or things that you're looking for. But then it might also have hints in the back. And so in this book in particular, you're going to see that it's got a parent guide in the back of all the different sounds that are being covered in the phonics stories, and then the irregular words that it's covered, so that you can utilize and work with your children on the different sounds to help them with their reading practice. And so always read the front and back of your books. That can make a difference. Some other combined volumes that we have the fairy tales, we have the classics for boys. Both of those are $19.99, illustrated stories from Aesop. This is 30 stories in there. Classics for boys will have 6 books in there for only $19.99. Illustrated fairy tales, you get 10 books in one for only $19.99 instead of $70. It's only $19.99. Those are a huge value, and they're great for your bedtime reading stories. And just, this is your fiction, so they're great for your discussion starters, so that you can be looking through that. And they have a ribbon bookmark. So those are children's favorites as well. And then we have, you're going to have the Big Book of Things to Spot. This is another combined volume. And you're going to save $51 with that. This one's $20.99. It has 1001 Animals to Spot, 1001 Things to Spot on the Farm, 1001 Things Long Ago, and 1001 Things in the Town. So instead of all the 4 books individually, they put it all into one, and then you have even more things to spot, and it does keep them occupied for hours. And it's great for children even if they don't read yet, because they just need to identify the picture, and if they can count up to 10, then they can find it in the picture. I had one mom, she said she got a hostess, she earned this for free with her host rewards, and she said her 3-year-old was looking at it for 3 hours when she first got it. She kept asking him what he was doing, and he said, "I'm looking at my book, Mom." So very nice book to have in the car if you have 3-hour car rides too. And with any of our puzzle books, just letting you know, they do have answers in the back. So if you ever just can't find something, just letting you know, all of our books will always have answers in the back that you can find. So that's another great combined volume. World Wars. This one is perfect for teenage boys, husbands too. They love to look at that. It's a nice coffee table book. This one has the First World War and the Second World War in one. So you're saving $14 versus buying the books individually. I had one gentleman, he read through the Second World War part at a booth, and he was kind of a World War II buff. So I asked him just to kind of see what he thought. He said it was really one of the best books he's read on the Second World War. So very phenomenally researched, and just the information. And you'll notice with Usborne too, just 2 pages at a time, so you can kind of pick it up and put it down. That's why they make great bathroom books too, as well as the coffee table or breakfast table. And so that can be just kind of a fun way to look through books, because you don't have to feel like you have to read the whole thing, and you still get the whole aspect of the book. So those are combined volumes. Again, you're going to be looking through when you're looking through the catalog, you're going to be looking for that CV symbol as you're looking through your catalog to save money. Another symbol that we have around in the catalog is going to be this IR and this IL, internet referenced, internet linked. And what that means is our books are complete in and of itself. You don't need to have the internet, but if you do, like World Wars, for example, you can read about Auschwitz and Birkenau, and then you can actually go and take a virtual tour of Auschwitz. So saves you money because it's a lot cheaper than flying over there and doing it yourself, and you can utilize that. It also makes more use of your computer, because sometimes we have computers or iPads or whatever, but we're not really using it for educational purposes. We're just using it for email or Facebook. So this is a way that you can kind of utilize your investment in your child's education with when you purchase a computer. But this is a free benefit. All these sites that we have found. We have full-time editors that have found these, and they're child-friendly, child-safe, and they are a great resource. But what's one problem with putting internet sites in a book? Right? They can go out of date even before the book is printed. So what we do, which is very unique with Usborne, is that we don't actually print the website in the book. Instead, what we do is we have a supporting website. So on all of these, this one has actually over 1,000 recommended websites. All of these, instead of putting the website, we say go to usborne-quicklinks.com. So you're going to go to our supporting website. You're going to go there. You're going to put in the keyword for the book and the page number, and then the links show up on our page, and then you can go and watch the movies or do different games and do the different things. And one thing too is on the internet links, we have found the websites for you, so you don't have to sort through. Like if you put human body into a search engine, you'd end up with a lot of garbage to look through. So we've already done that for you, so that we've found the best sites there, and then you can go and take a look at it, and your books won't go out of date because we have full-time editors that are always watching those, and we'll get them updated. If it ever changes out online, we change the link on our website, and your book is always current. Another thing too is anything with a star by it, these pictures with a star, those are free downloadable pictures off the internet. So if you wanted to use this for like a science fair project, or even just to make a little worksheet for your kids, you can certainly do that. That's another free benefit with our internet link to books. And so that is what the IR and the IL means. Another way that you can save money with Usborne Books is our collections. And so in your catalog, you're going to find different groupings of books, and they're kind of in the front. And so as you're looking through that, you're going to see groupings, and what they are is they're just savings. They've put them together, kind of like titles, to save you money. And sometimes the savings can be quite significant. And as you're looking through the bigger catalog, you're going to see those little bubbles. If you see a little bubble behind a book, that usually means it's in a collection. So look for another bubble that'll say which collection it is in. Some examples of some of our collections to help you save money is our Home Library Starter Collection #1. If you have babies and toddlers, this is the perfect starter set for your home library. It's a $33 savings, and it's just all your basic board books and lots of informational thing. It includes the Animal Hide and Seek, Stephen Cartwright's very popular book with the little yellow duck. This book is actually also counting up to 5. It's got the touchy-feely textures, the flaps. And so some people too, they'll consider investing in one of these collections and then maybe just giving a few away as baby gifts. So they are able to get some of their Christmas shopping done as well. We also have a Home Library Starter Collection #2. This will be the little bit older preschool age. And this is a great collection because it's $22 off, but because it also includes the Farmyard Tales, which is the combined volume. Remember, this is that one that has, it's a $95 savings. It has all 22 of the titles all in one. Your savings on this collection is actually $116. So highly recommend this set because this is our most popular book, and it also is a huge, huge savings as this collection with the $116 savings. So that's the Home Library Starter Collection #2. When you have older children, you may want to consider investing in a reference collection for your home, because you cannot actually check out reference books from a library. They're not allowed. And so many of us grew up in homes with an encyclopedia set, which took up a lot of space. So realize this internet linked reference collection that we have will only be 3 books long, but because of all the internet links, because this one has over 1,000 recommended websites, it really makes the knowledge in here much more expansive. And then besides the fact that this collection then is $7 off, but with them all being combined volume, because this has 8 $10 books in it, the savings is actually $160. So huge, huge value, but it also is a reference collection that you can have in your home. I had one hostess, she earned this for free by hosting a party, and then she had her her son did not tell her that he needed to have the paper due the next day until after the library was closed. But because she had this reference collection in her home, they were still able to get the paper done before the next morning because she had the references to be able to research that. Because all of our books are indexed. So if you ever need to look up anything, you can just go and look it up yourself. Oh, and this book too, I know that there was a few homeschoolers, actually has review questions for each section of the book. So some people have used this for their general science textbook. So that is a great reference collection for anyone that has the older elementary and junior high and high school age children. When you have younger children, preschool and early elementary, and if they're struggling with reading or aren't reading yet, consider this very first reading set. It actually is a collection of 15 different books. Instead of $7 a piece, the collection's only $69.99, so you're saving $35. But what's unique about it is a reading program to teach your child systematically all the sounds of the English language. And so they're limiting the child just to the first few sounds in the first book. So to be able to have a story, the parent's reading the small print and the child's reading the larger print, and then they're teaching irregular words. They're working through kind of the common sounds of the alphabet through your first 4 books, and by your 4th book the child can read, making it possible for them to read at 300 everyday words. And so they are able to do that by book number 4. There is a supporting website that you can access with this program, veryfirstreading.com, that gives you word banks and activity sheets and extra activities that you can do for each of the books. As you progress through, you're going to see that it adds a lot more of the different sounds of the English language, some of our blends, and it'll keep teaching those. By book 8, the child has learned enough sounds where they're able to read through the whole story themselves. And then by the time they get through book 14, keeps teaching all the different blends. By the time they get to book 14, the child has a potential reading vocabulary of over 2,500 words. So again, if you have a child that isn't reading yet, this is a great tool to get them and work through with them so that they can have that extra edge before they get started with school. Or if your child is in school and they're struggling with reading, you may want to bring them back through the basic phonetic sounds so that they are able to just catch up with their peers and not always be behind. So that's the very first reading set. We also have this Cuddle Bear and book. It's a really cute story about hugs, and so you can take a read through that. But that set, that collection is a nice value for you, but it also helps eliminate childhood cancer because a portion of the proceeds of this set will be sent to the Scott Carter Foundation, which does childhood cancer research. So that's our charity that we support. In your catalog, you're also going to see different binding options. P is paperback, and so any of our paperback books, you're going to see that's just a P, paperback. You'll also see hardcover books, and that's just your regular hardcover books. But then you're going to see a FL, which is kind of unique, and that's our flexi bindings, where we have kind of these flexible covers. And so that's the FL that you're seeing in our catalog. And then you're going to see an L in your catalog, and that's library bound. And I know it seems kind of funny to save money by spending more, because it is $8 to get a book library bound. But boy, this book is so sturdy, and they look at this book over and over again. This is the one where they're looking for all the different things. When you get it library bound, it will then last forever. We do have a half price replacement policy, so if you do get it in paperback and your child kind of destroys it, that's fine. You can still get it replaced at half price, but sometimes investing in a library bound book just at the beginning can make a difference and can save you money. So that's the L in your catalog as you're looking through that. One of the really, really great ways to save money is our customer specials. And so I'm going to just kind of pass some of those around. You can take a look at that as we're talking about those. And so on our customer specials, what they are is they change every month. And so with a $40 purchase, you can get up to 3 specials. And it just varies what they are. But this month it happens to be like you can get the Touchy-Feely Playbook for $7 instead of $12.99. It's huge savings. Or animals. This one is internet linked. And so it's a great nonfiction book to read to your children out loud and to interact with. And you'll notice with Usborne too, they always have 2 pages at a time on the different topics so that you can just pick it up and put it down. So it still can be read before bedtime. And this is also internet linked, so you can take the time and go and look at other things around if you want to. But this is a fun book to read. This is only, as a customer special, is only $7 instead of $16.99. So that's a huge, huge value. 365 things to make and do. Again, this is a great deal. It's only $13 instead of $24.99. Combine that with some paper and pens or art projects, and then you can have that for your own rainy day or use it as a great Christmas present. Monkey's Friends, this is only $6 instead of $14.99. It's a great, beautifully illustrated book that you can take a look at. So our customer specials, take a look at those. Realize that if you buy a starter collection, which is $99.99, it's 3 specials for every $40 purchased. So with the starter collection, since you're spending, $99.99, you can actually pick out 6 specials. And they can be all the same or they can be different. So depending on what you want. I had one customer right before Christmas. She got all her Christmas shopping done and stocked her home library because she bought a starter collection, and then she got the 6 specials to do all of her Christmas shopping with. So that is an excellent deal. Now, hosting a show, it does help out Susie here today, but it also really can help you save money as well. Because hosting a show is just a fun way to get together with friends and it just kind of connect and have them learn some of the reading tips too to keep their kids reading for a lifetime. But by hosting a show, on average shows are usually around $400. You're going to get $70 in free books. Because I am new and I get to offer double free books instead of $70 in free books, it's actually $140 in free books. And so if you wanted the reference collection, if you wanted the Animal Hide and Seek, you wanted the complete book of Farmyard Tales, the Ted and Friends, you can get all of that simply by hosting a show. So that would help out Susie, and then it also is just a chance for you to connect with your friends because we are so busy nowadays. So it's fun just to have an excuse to have people over. And so I'll be asking each of you if you'd like to host a show, and we can do different theme parties if you'd like. We can do a chocolate party like here today, or you can do whatever you wish. But hosting a show is a great way to connect with your friends and have fun and get free books. Now, if you like free books, but you also like money, another thing you may want to consider about is doing this as a business. This is a business opportunity anyone can do. They have a awards program where you can earn all these extra books for free. And so when I first started with my kids when they were little, I thought, I'm just going to do this for the first few months and then I'm going to just be a wholesale buyer. But I found out, wow, I can make a lot of money. And so we kept going. And now we've been doing it now for 18 years. And it can be whatever you want it to be, though. I have often people that are just raising money for a couch or their family vacation, or they need a new refrigerator. So they're just doing this for a short period of time so they can get their refrigerator. Or some people, they want to take care of their car payment. So whatever it is, you can earn about $100 at every party that you do. And if you're interested or if you know of anyone else that might be, just ask me for some information. It's no obligation. It's not saying that you're going to do anything. It's just some information to take a look at it. So if you know of somebody else that might be interested, let me know and I can send that information home with you today too. And letting you know, we do home parties, but we also do a lot of other options, and that's what makes this a great business because we have the home party market and then we also have the school and library market where we're offering 50% matching grants. We offer book fairs, we have a reading incentive program for schools, and then we also have a Cards for a Cause fundraiser which offers a 43% return. So if you know of any organization that needs anything like that, and some people actually just start with the business just doing the fundraisers, and so you can do that too. But it gives you a whole nother avenue to go with this business, and so that might be something to just kind of keep thinking on. Okay, so again, to have your kids love reading for a lifetime, make sure you have lots of books in the home, put them in baskets, read aloud at least 3 times a week. Make sure you're reading the fiction, but also the non-fiction books. Those are your educational reading to learn books. And then make sure you read smart books to have smart kids. I have a business card. You guys can take this home and put it in your purse, and whenever you want to just see if you need Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, our orders come very fast. They're shipped the next business day. And so you can just order right online, and the complete catalog is there. You can look at it as a PDF, or you can do the searchable catalog online if you'd like. So we're just going to go through, we're going to have a drawing, so fill out that drawing slip with me. We're going to just go through this together. So go ahead and fill all your information out on the top. Go ahead and put your email address down on there, because then you're actually entered into a drawing for $50 in free books every single month. Make sure you open it though when you get it, because then it'll show you if you've won, and you have 10 days to collect it. It also has a free activity and literacy tips that it'll always share. It's just once a month, and that just goes to me, so you don't have to worry about it going anywhere else. If you would like to help out Susie and just kind of have a friends night out for yourself, we can do a theme party if you'd like. Go ahead and let me know that you'd like to do a party. We can walk through that together. And if you've ever thought of doing this business yourself, either you or if you just want to get some information for a friend, just go ahead and let me know that as well. And then if you know of any school or library that would be interested in any of these other options, our card fundraiser, or if you want some information, just let me know and I can give that to you too. So I'll gather that up, and then we're going to give away a free book. So, any book in the catalog, $5 or less. So we'll do that. And then as you're shopping, just again, ask me any questions that you have. I'll be very happy to help you out. Thanks.